Introduce this panel. We wanted to do it slightly differently than usually what we do. Every focus project comes up and talks about what they do and all that. But we didn't want to do that. We wanted to make it a lot more interactive, as well as the key behind all of the focus projects, right? As you heard, only when a focus project is announced, the whole organization gets motivated in terms of raising money, in terms of the whole atmosphere, everything gets up with the focus project. And we have some veterans here who have done, fantastic work with the focus projects. And we do need to form other focus projects. For example, Focus AP just starting up, we need more people, hopefully, right? So I'm assuming you do need more people, right? And we also are starting up Focus Rajasthan. So this panel is about why is it important to form these groups? What are the pluses? What can we learn from their experience? And we also want to learn why volunteers make it happen, right? That's the key thing that I want to make sure we understand from the focus groups. So I'm going to be the moderator. My name is Sridhar Subbu. We talked about it. And let me start with a quick intros here. We have Anju Desai. She's involved in a lot more things than Focus Gujarat, but she was one of the pioneers, one of the key leaders in Focus Gujarat team. We have Anil Lal, who's also a board member. He was the key behind Focus Punjab, and he made, with his team members, Focus Punjab happen. And then we have Ritesh Bhai, because of whom you see all these dandiyas taking up in such a big thing, right? He was the one who pushed us to go beyond where we are in terms of dandiya, and he was a key member of Focus Gujarat team. We have Venkat Manipati. He was leading up our Focus Andhra Pradesh project. Focus Andhra Pradesh is our key or the first project, and it's the keystone or example project for everything. A big success. It is still a big success, and so on. And then we have Hema Chamraj. Hema is also running the marketing team. Hopefully, we'll talk a little bit later on about marketing. And she was involved in many projects. When we say Focus Karnataka, you need to realize that there are two projects in Karnataka. One is Focus Bangalore, and the other one is Focus Shimoga. Hema was involved in both. And we have Rekha hiding there in the Rekha was also part of the Focus Karnataka team. Then we have Sudhir. Sudhir was a key part of the Focus AP team, and he is now helping drive the Focus AP Phase 3. We can talk a little bit about that later on. And we have Sarabjit, who is part of the Focus Punjab team. Key part of the team and help make Focus Punjab happen. So I'm going to start with a few questions. Anybody I'm missing, Anilji? Who? Raj.
The king.
Divyogi Bhai, you want to join?
Yes. Carry on, please. I'll take it from you.
Okay, sounds good. So let's start. There are a bunch of questions that I put together and shared it with the team. And of course, you are welcome to join and jump in and ask more clarifying questions. Okay? So let me start in the order. My glasses on. So let's start with Focus Gujarat, which I think was one of the big success, right? And what do you think, Anjuman? How many volunteers did Focus Gujarat have, and were they all active, or how much of them were active at any given time?
We had almost 15 volunteers approximately, I'm telling, but we had a support from the whole SEF volunteers, so they were kind of our backbone. It almost took 3 years for us to build the hospital from the time we get the land to the time we really did the inauguration. So a lot of personal things happened, people changed the job, so they have to focus it with work, or they got married and everything, so a lot of things changed. But that did not slow down the project, usually it does, because we worked as a team. So I won't say if there were 15 members, I will say we had one big team for Focus Gujarat.
Great. So, Anilji, can you share the kind of activities usually the volunteers do as part of the focus team, and what were they engaged in?
Well, I think it's kind of a hard question to answer because there were so many activities that we were going into for Focus Gujarat, for Focus Punjab. One of the major challenges was outreach. We were trying to reach different parts of the country, different sect of people than, because most of the people that we've been dealing with in focus projects were mainly Hindi-speaking South. This was the very first project that we attempted as Sankara in the north of part of India. And so there were many, many challenges, some cultural, some location. So I guess it's hard to say, but I guess the biggest thing that the volunteers did for us, whether they were in Seattle or Modesto or in Yuba City or wherever, the biggest challenge, and then of course the Bay Area, but the biggest challenge was that we needed to reach a different section of public. That's okay. So we really wanted to reach out to a different section of people. We went to many, many gurdwaras, met some really, really good people that would help us reach out to the Punjab community, because I think that our history has told us.
Sorry, cell phone. Which mic are you using? Cell phone? Which microphone? Number
4. So that really was the biggest help that they could give us, and we feel, I'm always saying that I'm sort of a global individual. I don't really believe that you have to be from Punjab to support a hospital in Punjab, but yet history has shown us that the big concentration of donors do come from people that have alignment with that area. So I think that's really what the answer would be on that, outreach.
What mic do you have? 5.
Okay, so Ritesh Bhai, let me ask you a slightly different question, but related to this. What do you think volunteers gain out of being part of a focus project? What do you think, what are the special skills or whatever you think they can develop by being part of a focus project?
I think this is a great question, because when you look into Shankara, when you work for Shankara, in fact you are working for yourself. In fact, this is what we have seen when Anjuman has described there are 15 people team and how closely they were gelled together, working together. So this team got an opportunity to work closely with the board members on their guidance, as well as taking their stuff, as well as challenging them some of the stuff on the board as well. Yeah. So you learn the leadership skill where you don't take everything, right? Second is we have seen that team was so much gelled together with each other. In fact, this is exactly what you do in your day-to-day learning. Third thing, you have learned a lot, like successful people like Anilji, Sundarji, Devagi Bhai, and everyone in the industry. You get in touch with them. You know them personally. You know them how they became successful. So in fact, this thing what you can use on your life to grow. In fact, I have seen that when we found the 15 people team, many of them, they were not speaking. They were so quiet. I was surprised, like if you look at them today, you'll be surprised like how far they have went into. And I can challenge you that you cannot beat them in the debate and competition. Because this is an open organization where everybody put their views and everybody's views is heard. And then you have to put your point to support that. So I can say like, in short, that you are working for yourself more than self.
Thank you. That's fantastic. So Venkat Garu, you've been part of Focus projects since what, 2002, 2003? Because Focus AP was 2004, our first baby, right? You are still motivated. You are still part of it. What motivates you to, continue with Shankara and the projects, even after the Focus AP is done? I mean, at least the first phase. Right? It's never done.
Thanks, Subhuji. So as Ritesh Bhai said, I think volunteer for Shankara is actually, it's two benefits. One is we see that our efforts are paying off. When Sundarji shared that million surgery done for one lady, So that's the kind of people who need help from day to day. There are millions of people that still need to be taken care of. And that gives the motivation for us to work every day. I know everybody is busy with their daily lives, but when you see the people, the really people who otherwise wouldn't have taken care of themselves, so Sankara is helping them. So Sankara means all of us. So each one of you are working for the same cause, and it's paying off. That's one of the drivers for the motivation. And the second thing is, in Sankara we get to meet a lot of people. So again, being human beings, right, we are all social. So you want to meet people, you want to talk to them, and see what you are doing. And when in Sankara, it's more of a family get-togethers, and that keeps us going. And the third one, you get to meet a lot of other people in the different walks of life, because I'm volunteer for Sankara, which otherwise I wouldn't have done. I go to different conventions, we promote Sankara there, I meet different people. So these are the drivers that keeps us going every day and years to come.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. So Hemant, from Karnataka perspective, we had first of all 2 projects, right? One of them worked very well, one of them maybe not, right? So from a volunteer perspective, can you talk about what worked well and what did not?
Yeah, Focus Karnataka was a challenge, and I'll get to that. But before that, I was part of Focus AP also.
That's true.
So
That's true.
in that, what we realized is that we had a strong team. That was one. Second thing was we had reached out to the community leaders, and they were really supporting us in terms of taking this vision forward, in terms of building the hospital happen. So we had that, and also we had very key members of the board involved. The Yogi Bhai was like, it was me and he used to go on, meet people, and Murli and I would go meet people. So there was that connection with the board, with the community members, and with the volunteers. It was pretty strong. I would say, in terms of Karnataka, when we came to Focus Karnataka, I think one of the things was that the team we had a big team for one event until we reached one point, and after that, like Anjuben said, family, issues or family plans, that we had people leaving the team to do other things, and so keeping the volunteers together didn't happen in these projects. And also Bangalore is somewhat special in that it did have that regional pull like you would have in other projects. Like if you were in Gujarat, you had a Gujarat community that would be there. But for Bangalore, it's kind of, you have all sectors of, there was not that regional pull in a big way. So I would say that was another thing. So there was the challenge to make 2 hospitals happen with one of them not having that regional pull, not having a strong team. And also in that, we didn't have a very strong regional leader to kind of take us. But we still did good. But I think it was, so it's very important to have a very strong team, very strong community leader, and have a very cohesive team with the community leaders, with the team, with the volunteer teams, and the board working together. And I think we learned through that, through this process.
So, Rekha, why don't you add?
I have to take, that's why. I want to add one more to this. For Sundar and other people, you said you want to have 2 hospitals in a year, and we had 3 hospitals in a year, Gujarat, Bangalore, and Karnataka. The 2 things missed in Karnataka was, like Mahima mentioned, reaching to the community. I still don't see Kannada community involved and engaged. Maybe partly as a volunteer I should have, but I look at it as an individual volunteer, not community volunteer. So that's me probably. And the second thing, Sanjeevan mentioned that even though they had 15, they used Sankara, especially Andhra team. They brought in all the knowledge. Saitya, Manjula, all the Andhra team helped Karnataka. So we didn't really make. I think when you're going to have 2 projects in a year, something to think, how are you going to diversify the core volunteers like us who can help them, something to think about further expansion.
So, Sudhir, take that. So let me jump from that question. So do you think when we form a new team, like what you're forming right now in Focus AP project or even the Focus Rajasthan, it is important for the senior volunteers to be involved in terms of guiding and mentoring? Or you should just let them go and then help them when needed? Which one do you think will work better? Based on what Rekha just said.
So I think both we need, so because the guidance is always helps, like a lot of experience and how to approach people, because new volunteers, even when I was new, so I was afraid of, I mean, when I go to booth or somewhere, so I feel like, shy. I don't want to ask people. So if you continue with the organization, like Murali, you can go and ask anyone at any time, even they say no, right? So you need experienced people like, guiding you what we have to do and how to approach, definitely we need. And also new people, they go beyond, like, so maybe now social media and so many things, maybe people 40 plus or 35 plus, they may not use them properly, but the kids 18 years or 20 years, they use social media a lot. So we can reach out outside very area using these social medias, Twitter, Facebook, so they are the leaders, I think, in terms of reaching out. So we need both, mix and match to go for it.
Okay. Good, thank you. So, Sarabhai, I'll come for a difficult question for you later on, but let's start with a simple one. What are the major hurdles the project faced from a volunteer perspective, from the project perspective, and whenever you face the hurdles, how did you go about solving? Let's take your personal experience.
Let me start by saying what Anilji repeats many times is that failure is not an option. So we started off on the right foot. We had a very small core team, and I found that there were not many Punjabis there. That did not matter too much because to carry a project forward, you need gurus, veterans who have done it before and been there, and we were very rich with that aspect in Sakra. So we had too many people to guide us and also leave us alone to take the project forward. And whenever we had a challenge, the community approach was going on side by side. We had a core of about 10 active Punjabi volunteers. As Anjuban said, things happen with family life. Somebody starts, going in for a child, and other people move on, get transferred. The team changes, but the mission did not.
True.
And somebody is watching from up, and we kept on going. Challenges kept coming, but unless there's a challenge, you won't move forward and try to step up to it and take it as a cause you have to solve. Somehow we all were so involved that we didn't even feel it. Eventually, we were able to overcome all the hurdles, and I think positivity was a factor. Encouragement from the board was a major factor, and we are not limited to the core team of the Focus. Shankara Foundation is all about all of us as a family together, and everybody did a great job encouraging us. We never felt we were alone, we were never abandoned, and that's how we go forward.
Thank you. Now that we have finished one round, I have a bunch more questions which I'm going to throw to the panel. But do you have, from the audience, any questions to the panel? Anybody? Yeah, go ahead.
How do you join the focus group, and what do you really do in the focus group? If I'm supposed to join, what should I expect?
Excellent question. Ritesh bhai, take it.
So first of all, we have upcoming projects, Rajasthan and other projects. In fact, joining the focus group is you can you can be part of the team because board members, they are already working on it. Now, I can give you one example of Gujarat and how every member of the Gujarat team emerged as a leader at the end of the event. So in fact, what happened is we have formed a team of about 8 to 9 people who are interested to spend the time in the Gujarat. Same way you meet with 8 to 10 people. You bring your friends, form the close team. After the formation of team, then board tells you there is a process in place where how we have raised the funds in the past, what Padmaji has shared, from where, how much money we are coming in. And then there is a event, there is activities, and in fact, not only that part, it's creativity of the team, what you come up with. Like Gujarat team came up with the Dandiya, which is one of the biggest right now of the events. So your first step is approaching to the board members or the volunteer organization and see like what are the opportunities, especially Rajasthan is the one which you can start right away.
Go ahead.
Yeah, basically, once you're part of Shankara, you should get into Shankara through, so you can get notifications of which projects are getting started. And Venkat is actually going to start some of the new focus projects. So you become part of the team first, and then form the team with the right, who are all interested in that project. And then, very, very important is, what is the goal for the project? What is the amount that you have to raise? And then as a team, you have to come up with a plan of how you would raise the money. And then the other important thing is you have to meet as a team regularly. That's very important to keep the momentum together, to have the team thing going on, so find a way for, as a team, you select a leader and then come up with a process on how you meet often, and then basically a plan of how you reach that goal. So what is the goal? What is the plan? What's your team like? How you meet?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Venkat, go ahead. Go ahead, Shruti.
We at Shankara are very, very bad at delegating and involving new volunteers full-fledged. So my only one plea to each and every one of you is don't give up on us. Push us to the limits. No, seriously, push us to the limits that we do learn to delegate. And make each one of you a leader. And I'm literally, this is a request, a plea. Don't give up on Shankara. We need you and push us to delegate. Please.
Oh, well put. Venkat, go ahead.
I just want to add a couple of points to that. So I think your question was what it takes to become a part of the project team. So at the end of, our goal is to raise funds here. So that's what we do. So how do we raise funds for the project? So when you form the team, so there are few activities the team carries forward. One is, let's say, we are building team for Focus Rajasthan now. Our hospital is coming at Jodhpur. And usually we work with the community organizations like Rajasthan Association of Nata. And then there are 2 other organizations. So usually we build relationship with them and then we do events together. And also we do events on our own. So like when we did the Gujarat project, so Dandiya is more popular in Gujarat. So the team came up with the idea that this is a good event to bring all the community. So once the community comes for their event, so we get an opportunity to market to the community. So the team comes up with those ideas. Some of those ideas come from the team. Some come from the experience from the board and the other leaders give you, this is how it works. So once you are part of the team, usually as a close group, the team meets and then plan the things what we wanted to do and all these things.
So go ahead.
I just like to add one more point which is very critical, because when we were working as a team in Gujarat, like joining the team doesn't mean that you are going in front of the donor and asking for money. In fact, joining the team is basically someone who was driving the financial, like Sona was driving financials, Smita was driving all the work on the background. Similarly, the marketing driven by Anjuman. So in fact, you have a lot of opportunity to do so many different things in that area what you like. And in fact, you emerge as a leader in that area. And everybody gets an opportunity to become leader actually in that group.
Just as the last point, what I'd like to say is that even though the focus teams are all about raising money, it's not necessary that each one of you have those particular skills at this time. it's very important that you have a willingness to learn. But for example, one very small event happened, one of my friends donated, and then I asked her, I says, you must know other people. Yes, I know a lot of people, she says. I said, could you invite a few of them to your house? So she says that the immediate hesitation was, I don't know how to ask people for money. And then my comeback was that it's not your job, we will do that. So in other words, until you feel comfortable, and every one of us will grow. I've been doing this for about 23 years, but I never was good at asking people for money. And I'm blessed I never had to. But the point is that the mission in Sankara is so large that it's beyond the means of any individual or any small group of individuals. So we must learn how to ask for money. But in the meantime, all you have to do as an individual team member is to open avenues, open doors. People say, well, I know this person, this person, this person. So what my comeback is, open the door for us, make that first attempt, because giving us a number is not going to help us. Somebody might give us an email address, give us a number. Well, I can probably look around and find the number myself. But those people will not respond to us. But maybe they'll respond to you. So that's what you can really, really do to help us a lot, is open a few doors. And don't worry about the money. It will come. And we will be all there to support that.
Thank you, Anilji. So I'm going to throw the next question to the panel. Any one of you can pick it up. Okay? Because Anilji, you just started talking about donors. There are going to be two questions related to that. In terms of, first, let me start talking about partnerships, right? You had, like you said, Venkat Garu, you mentioned Tana, Bata, right? They're very important for Focus AP. So the question is, how do we go about making these partnerships? Did the partnerships work well? What did we learn? What can we do better? Go ahead. So, Venkat Garu? Sorry.
So I think what happens is we have the cause, right? Our cause is to eradicate curable blindness in India. But we do not know some of the people in the community, especially when you go to a new community. Let's say we are going to Rajasthan. Usually if we have volunteers already in Sankara, then they have some connections. So that is how we build the relationships. But community like RANA, Rajasthan Association of North America, so they have reach into their community. So we will approach them and then we partner together. So this we did in the past. So when we did the Andhra project, that was the first project from here. So the local association was Bay Area Telugu Association. So we worked together and then we did events together to raise funds for the Guntur hospital. So then that relationship grew over time, and they have the reach into the community. When we do an event, they can sell the tickets to the community and then they can bring to the cause. So that's how we get a lot of people as Sankara donors. Similarly, the Tana is the Telugu Association of North America. That's the umbrella organization across the US. And they did in 2003, there was a national convention happened in San Jose. That gave, and we were building Guntur Hospital. So that gave us a lot of opportunity for us to showcase our work, and then it's a marketing opportunity for us to reach the community. So with that, we actually got more than $500,000 because we got the opportunity to reach everyone. And the first donation that came, the largest donation at that time, was 100,000. It was a big donation in 2003. So that person attended Tana, and in Tana, about 50 of our volunteers, all of us were in helping Tana registration and in different activities. And all the people, even now when I go to Tana to promote Sankara, they say, yeah, in 2003 you guys did a show, also music show. So we wore t-shirts, and then the community person, every community member remembers that. And the person donated 100,000. After that, we still get the donations because of that community bond.
Thank you. So this is also related to donors, right? I mean, you are in donor relations, Anjulen. Maybe you should take this question. So how did the relations with major donors work, right? And reaching major donors, do you gain by doing that, even outside of Shankara? As a volunteer, do you learn, do you grow by approaching big donors and talking to them?
Answer to all the Subhuji's question is yes, 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 yes. And I will go one by one. Yes, following up with the donors do work, because the whole donation thing is on a trust issue. You go to somebody, you talk to them, you present your project, and they buy into that. They trust in you. So going back after their donation and talk to them, showing them what we did with that donation, definitely helps. So answer is yes. Other thing, I still remember when I was new with the Sankrai Foundation, I was working with the Gujarat project so closely. We went to New York with the booth to promote the Focus Gujarat project. We met a couple of donors, prospective donors at that time, and we knew they are interested. We knew they can do this. So we did the presentation, we came back, and then we have to follow up with what decision they made it. We were a little scared, we were new. It was Rajesh by one of our volunteers, myself. So we asked one of our board members, Divya Yogi Bhai, to join us the conference call on the phone, because you know when you are new, no is not an answer. You want to hear yes. So we asked him to join, we talked, and the donor said it's a good project and everything. But he was looking for the one particular hospital in Anand. He said, you know, I'm looking for that contact. Are you the same hospital? We said, no. He said, my parents' wish was to donate to that hospital. So I being a new, I said, yeah, our hospital is big, this and blah, blah, blah. Yogi stop me. Again, you will stop. He needs the information about the other hospital, find out the information, Doshi's hospital, and share it with the donor. If he wishes to donate to that hospital, we should give that information to and help him out. After all, he wants to give something back to the community. It hurt me, because that was my first big donation. But next day I did that, because the instructions are from the board. I did that, I gave him the information about Doshi's, and I just connected him with that trust with that hospital. And after a few days, he called, and that was our first 25,000 donation. Just being honest and sincere. So on your ways, there are so many occasions when you just want to grab that. Don't push the donor, just follow it up, gain their trust, and the donation will come. Don't ask them, it will come, believe me.
Thank you, Anjuman. That was fantastic. So we have 1 minute left, so I'm going to wind it up with the last question to Hema. As part of the focus team, right, I mean, they will need a lot of help, you know, from the board, of course. Anilji talked about it, you all talked about it. We can give help, whatever help they need. From a marketing perspective, what can you do? You are the marketing, so they will need a lot of help there. What can you do?
Right. We can be the support for any of the marketing that the focus team decides to do. Now, there are different avenues. One is the website itself. You know, how do you promote your project on the website? How do you reach to the donors through different, through newsletters, campaigns, through email campaigns. So we can actually provide a lot of, creating brochures, creating all the promotional materials that you need to put up your booth. So anything that needs from a marketing perspective is something the marketing team is well prepared to address.
Thank you. So let me summarize. Okay. Thank you very much, all of you. Any other final questions? I have, I believe, 30 seconds left. Any final questions? Okay, go ahead, Manjula.
Not really a question. A lot of new volunteers who come to any organization, not only Shankara, are not sure how they can help themselves. So if all of you can just say how you could use new volunteers, that would be great. I think it would be very useful for new volunteers.
Sure. Go for it.
Yeah, I can start with marketing for sure. Marketing is actually like a common function across all these focus projects. So we support what all the projects are trying to do and anything in general, events and such. So, and we have a core team that meets on a regular basis. And again, we have done very well in some of the traditional marketing areas, like whether it's TV, radio, or website, creating material and sending newsletters and things. But we're trying to grow really in social marketing, and you're going to hear a little bit from Sonal today. But anybody who's interested in marketing or who have skills or who are interested to learn about marketing, please join our team, and you can find ways to either whether you are creative in terms of creating content, or if you're into social marketing, you can help us out to become better at it. So I would say marketing has a big need for volunteers. So please come over and talk to me and to Smita.
So Sudhir, because you are starting the new project, Focus AP, let's talk about what you need there.
So we need volunteers. One thing we are trying to do apart from events and booths, so trying to reach outside Bay Area. So last couple of months ago, I reached out to Tucson, Arizona, Telugu Association. So just I spent like 15 minutes to talk about Shankara and explain it to them. So they were very happy to support us because they are doing an Ugadi event, that is a cultural event. So that is just to have a fun. So when I say, why don't you add this cost to your event, it is going to be more meaningful. So then the president of that organization excited. And because they are going to be there for 1 year as a president, so it is time to prove to them, like, so we are doing something good, I have achieved, to keep them in profile, or for themselves also it is very good, right? So she started, okay, so I'm happy to do that. Then just we sent a marketing material to them, and they promoted, they showed our video and presentation, everything, 15 minutes. We received 2 Walla founders and around 3,000 regular donations. So just I spent like less than 30 minutes to work with them. So that is the opportunity. We have many organizations, like in each city we have 10-15 organizations. So we don't have any boundaries we have to stick with one organization or 2 organizations. So we look into big picture. So throughout India, any organization, either in the same language or different professional, any cultural, any events, you go them, try to partner with them, so we can make it happen. So I need help in that area to reach more people. So I'm trying to connect with LA. So they invited us on September 7th. They have one event there. So around 2,000 people are going to present it. So whereas we had to do the same event in LA, so we had to spend a lot of money and things like that. This is zero overhead for us. On the top of you reach community, plus we get some benefit out of it. Not only event days, or later also they look into Shankara, what we have been doing, what we are doing, right? So they definitely help us. So I think that is one of the key area. If anyone interested to reach out people and want to talk to them, so this is a good opportunity to join Focus AP.
Thank you.
I want to add.
Go ahead, Sarabji.
Today I see many new faces and there are lots of new volunteers. All I can say is that nobody knows better about themselves, and they have to feel where they fit in. So we are a picture. You have to find yourself a place. Every opportunity is open. You do not need to be told, you go for this project. You feel marketing is for you, go for marketing. You think you can help in capital projects, go for capital projects. You think you're good at socializing and donor care, tell somebody about it. They'll, somebody who's from the old school, and they will connect you with the right people where you can go and excel and get satisfaction for yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, all of you. So final thoughts is that, so you heard from all of them, right? The challenges and the fun and the learning. The key message is, being part of the Focus project doesn't mean that we are trying to divide and conquer, right? It's not the aim. We're not trying to divide up the teams. We are trying to put focus, right? That's the key, right? And we want to form the teams and collaborate. Like you heard, right, from AP, the entire organization was behind it. Gujarat, the entire organization was behind it. Everybody will be behind you. But we need a few people focused and driving it from the front, right? That's the reason to form the focus teams. So we desperately need to form the Rajasthan team. We desperately need help in the Focus AP Phase 3. These are the 2 major projects for this year. And next year, more projects will be coming up. So please sign up and join. And thank you very much for all of you. Thank you.